On today's episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, I'm going to be talking to you about which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Not really. We're going to be talking about what do I do first? Do I buy first? Do I sell first? This is one of the most common questions we receive when it comes to what do I need to do. People are afraid to put their house on the market because they don't have nowhere to go. People are afraid to buy another house because they haven't sold theirs yet. We're going to talk to you today about exactly the strategies and the steps so that you don't get caught in the middle of buying one and needing to sell one. All that and more on this episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Here we go. Hello and welcome once again, everybody, to another episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where you receive the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to find anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it right here from your friends at Elite Realty Group. We have a great podcast for you today, again, answering the question that many of you have when it comes to buying and selling a home. We know there's a lot of people that are out there that you are in the market, you're knowing you need an upgrade on your home, maybe you need to downsize, but there needs to be a move. There needs to be a transaction, a purchase of a new home, but you also own the current home that you have. You kind of feel like you get stuck in the middle of what do I need to do? How do I need to make sure I go through this process without getting caught in the middle and that potentially being, two mortgage payments, that potentially being putting you in a very stressful financial situation? It's a very valid question. And the exact same time, we know that there's people out there that you want to sell your home. You need to move. You maybe have had a job transfer. You've got things going on that there is a reason for you to put your home on the market and sell it. However, you don't want to do that because you haven't found the home yet that you are going to be moving to. You don't want to be in that situation either. There are a lot of thoughts and a lot of different, probably a bunch of information, I guess I should say, about why you do what and when you do it. What I want to talk to you about today is your concerns are very valid. Like that, everything that you're thinking in your mind is a very reasonable thought for you to have, because you don't want to get put in those places. Okay, you don't want to be in that stressful situation of feeling like you have two things and you only need one. Okay, I got two homes, I only need one. You want to make sure that you do this the proper way. Well, the good news is there are totally 100% ways to do this to ensure that you do not get caught in that place that you don't want to go. The question now begs to ask, like, what do I do then? How do I do this? I'm looking forward to going over that with you today and giving you the strategies and the tips, and there's not really tricks, but what you need to do and how you need to do it. So here's what some of the fears are, okay? And to be honest with you, these fears are valid, okay? People ask themselves the question, what if I sell my house, the one I'm living in now, and I can't find another one in time? I'm going to be homeless. I'm not going to have anywhere to live. That's a valid fear. Another fear that a lot of people have is, what if I find my dream home, like the one that I want in the perfect location? It's got everything that I want in my next home. It is my dream home, but I've not sold mine yet. What happens? I don't want to move twice. I don't want to pay two mortgages. These are all real concerns. They're smart, actually, of you to be thinking this way. But what I want to tell you today is there's proven ways to manage those, okay? So here's where we're going to start with our conversation today. And again, I hope this information be very helpful to you. I'm sure that it will. But let's talk about selling your house first, okay? If you're that person out there and some reasons why you want to say, let's sell first, okay? There is, in the state of Tennessee, I can only talk to you about what goes on here, and I really can't. I would think that this is pretty common across the country, but I'm going to be speaking in specific in Tennessee only today because that's what I know, that's where we are. But in Tennessee, in contracts, we are able to put in contingencies, okay? You say, well, what's a contingency? I don't really understand what that is. It means whatever I write in this contract, this sale, this execution, this closing of this contract has to happen. This contingency has to happen prior to this closing taking place. Meaning if you're out there and you've got to sell your home first, or you want to sell your home first, there is a contingency as a seller that you can put in your contract when somebody gives you a contract to buy it. There can be a contingency from you of the seller that you have to find suitable housing before this deal is actually going to close and you're going to turn over your home to someone else. Now that eliminates you worried about, what if I sell my house and I can't find another one? Well, you just put the contingency in your contract and you say, I'll sell my house to you, but I'm not closing this deal and finalizing this deal until I find suitable housing for myself. So that contingency being placed there is that big protection for you if you're thinking of those things about buying and selling first. Which one do I need to do? I want to sell my house. Now, when we just start talking about this in the realm of how the real estate arena works, the buyer of that deal, they're going to have to be okay with you doing that. And, most are. You as a seller, you're going to have to be okay with knowing, okay, now I've got a contract on my home. I've got a certain time frame. Like, I can't be just taking forever, because there is a time frame that you would want to put on that contingency. For example, I have to be able to find suitable housing in 30 days. And you put that out there, and that way everybody knows we're working on these time frames. But it's one of those things, again, that you put a contingency in that, and that's good for you. Now, let's flip over if you are going out and trying to buy a house, okay? Let's say, again, we're in the same scenario that you have, and you have to sell because of financial decisions. You have to sell before you can buy. If you don't put your house on the market first and potentially go ahead and be marketing it to someone to buy, you're going to go out and start looking for a house yourself. And when you find that house, let's just say, for example, you find your dream home and you say, okay, I want this house. The same contingency can be done in purchasing your new house. So you're going out to buy, you find the dream home is exactly what you want, you put the same contingency in. So this purchase, this contract is contingent upon me being able to sell my home. Now, if we just talk candidly and openly for just a moment, most home sellers, okay, if you as a buyer now wanted to put that contingency in your contract, they're going to want to know, is your house on the market for sale? Is it listed for sale? Do you already have a contract for sale on it? All of those things are questions that both sides are going to be asking. So you're going to need to be able to do that. It is our thought and our process that if you know you have to sell your home to buy another home, it's a good idea to put your home on the market first before you go out and start looking. Because if I'm trying to sell my house and you want to tell me you have to sell yours before you can buy mine, well, I'm going to want you to get on the ball with that. I'm going to want you to get things rolling and stuff start happening. The thing that I'm trying to say to you today is the real world is that's typically how a lot of buyers and sellers, they're navigating their way through this market today, because that is a real and valid concern, as we talked about earlier. That's as real can be. So no matter if you're buying, no matter if you're selling, that little thing called a contingency can be put out there, can be placed in for you to not get in those situations that you're fearful of getting in. Now, let's talk about, again, if you were going to go buy. We talked about sale first. I gave you that example already, but if you're going to buy a house, y'all, and you got to sell your house, well, we need to get it on the market first. But however, if you're out there and you're like, I don't want to do that, I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to do that. I want to go look before I even know if I want to sell. And if I find I'm okay putting an offer in and then selling my house later, like that's the way I want to handle this, well, more power to you. You have the ability and the opportunity to do that. My point is, you don't have to worry about getting stuck that I'm obligated to buy this house and I got to sell my house. You're not, if you put the same contingency in. This time you're just looking at it from a buyer's side. So you go find the house, You find your dream home, you put a contingency in there. This contract is contingent upon me selling my house at 123 Banana Street, wherever that is. You write that contingency in there. Now, it's the same thing as you on the selling side. The seller of that offer, the seller of that house, is going to have to accept your offer in that way. Now, let's go back real world and tell you what happens a lot of times, just so you're informed and you're able to know this is what potentially can happen. We see oftentimes sellers will accept that offer and they'll say, okay, we understand you got to sell your house before you can buy ours. You wrote a contingency in there to do that. You want 30 days to sell it and all the things that we've already talked about. But a lot of times what you will see happen, again, I'm speaking Tennessee, the seller will also include a first right of refusal addendum. And what that addendum will say in a nutshell is we will accept your offer as you've written it with the contingencies in. We're good for that. We'll do that, okay? But we want to attach this addendum of a first right of refusal to your offer. And what it says, if somebody else comes along, we're going to be able to continue marketing our house for sale. We're going to be able to continue to do all that we've been doing. And if someone else comes through and they make us an offer and we like their offer, we give you, sometimes this is 24 hours, sometimes it's 48 hours, sometimes it's 72 hours, but we give you a period of time. Let's just play 48 hours. We give you 48 hours to remove the contingency that you had on our home, or we're going to cancel your offer and we're going to take another one. That is what you see happen a lot of time. That's real world in play. A lot of what you see it happens. That's what advice we give to our clients a lot of times is to go ahead and do this. As a seller, you can continue marketing, but give this buyer that first right of refusal. So you see all of these moving parts and pieces. We say this a lot on this podcast. That's why it's important for you to work with someone knowledgeable in the real estate field. And you don't try to navigate these waters, especially by yourself, is because having that professional backing and person that's on your side that kind of helps you, construct and craft these offers and make sure you've got everything right and it's done the right way and you don't get stuck having those two homes, which you don't want to do. You are kind of protected from that because you're working with a professional. So let's talk about a few tips of kind of what you can do, just a few bonus tips to even make that process more smoother, okay? I've already gave you one, work with a realtor, and you're probably sitting there saying, of course you're going to say that, you're a realtor. Absolutely, you are 100% correct. That's why I'm saying that. I believe in a realtor. But another quick little tip to make this thing go smoother is a lot of times working with the same agent on both of those transactions makes it more seamless because that agent knows what you're trying to accomplish over here in selling and they know what you're trying to accomplish over here in buying. And so they have knowledge of the whole entire situation of what we're trying to pull off here, and it makes that transition a little more seamless. Number 2, get pre-approved, okay? Get pre-approved before you even list your current home, okay? Now, I am a big advocate for if you're going to sell and buy at the same time, list first because it will make your offer when you do find this house over here that you're wanting to put an offer in on, it's going to make your offer look stronger because these people know, hey, they've already got their home on the market. Like they're serious about this. They're not thinking about it. They've already done it. It makes your offer look stronger. But get pre-approved before you ever pull that string to list that first home. That way you go ahead and have the financial conversation with whoever's giving you the money to purchase the new home that you're going to get. You already have that conversation with these people and they say, yes, you do have to sell your home before you buy a new one. And if you do sell your home, here's the amount of home you can buy on the new one. Just don't go wing it. Just don't go thinking you know what's best and you can go get your finances in order before you ever list your home for sale. That's a big tip and makes it seamless. Third one is be realistic about everything. Be realistic about your pricing and your timelines. The one thing you don't want to try to do is time the market perfectly. Listen, there is no perfect timing in the market. It's right when it's right for you. It's wrong when it's wrong for you. We say that all the time on here. But be realistic about your pricing and your timelines, okay? All of this will move quickly. Thus, one of the other reasons why you want to work with a professional. Lastly, pack smart, plan ahead. Keep a backup plan with a potential short-time rental just in case you aren't going to be able to find what you want, but you don't want to lose the deal on your house. We advise a lot of people that are in this situation going into it, not only be thinking about, I'm going to move to this potential house, but get that backup plan in place of, you know what, I may need to look for a short-term rental of 1 month. And go ahead and begin putting some fillers out of that, because you may put your house on the market and get what I'm going to call an outstanding offer. But you can't find what you really want. And you're sitting there thinking, I do not want to lose this offer. I don't want to lose. I'm getting top dollar for my home. The inspections have been done. The buyer can buy. Like, I need to sell this house, but I can't find it. Go ahead and plan ahead a little bit and just put out some feelers. Is there a possibility that you could do a short-term rental? You could stay with a family member. You could do something that you don't have to lose this offer. Now, that is worst case scenario that we're talking about, but that's something that you probably want to plan ahead for. And you want to think about when it comes to, again, what happens first, buying or selling. So the contingency is the biggest part of that, okay? Ask your realtor. If you're working with one of ours, they're going to know this. If you're across the country somewhere and you're sitting there thinking about that, it's good to go ahead, do some homework up front. And I'm talking about before we ever list a house for sale, before we ever go looking for a home for sale, go ahead and have these conversations. Call up a local realtor and give them these concerns. Your fears are, what if I sell my house and I can't find another one? Do you know what a contingency is? What if I find my dream home, but I haven't sold mine yet? Do you know what a contingency is? Is that even possible to be done in your state? Do you know what a first right of refusal is? Those conversations cost you nothing. And it also will let you know the person you're working with knows what they're doing to be able to help you navigate the waters of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Not really, but what comes first, buying or selling. You know that you've got everything that you need in place. Now, buying and selling, it can totally be overwhelming, okay? If you navigate it alone, you don't have the right person assisting you. But with the right plan, the right support, it can be just as smooth as I don't have to buy or sell. I'm just going to do one of the two, okay? If you're in the Lakeway area and you're ready to take that next step, you're ready to have those conversations. Maybe you've been on the fence because you just didn't know how to navigate it. We're here to help you. Anywhere in the state of Tennessee, we'll be glad to answer your questions. If you have questions, concerns, thoughts, comments about this video, make sure you write those in the comments. We'll be glad to address those. Also, whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on, make sure you hit that subscribe button as we release weekly content out to you to help your buying and selling or investing process smoother. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. We will be back with another episode next week. Until then, you guys be safe, be blessed. We will see you on the next one.